they're going to do a property condition assessment report. That's altogether different than what happens in the tax lien and deed business, where we buy as is. Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas. For the past 30 years, I've been involved in a subset of the traditional real estate. So I'll talk about that first, and then we'll talk about property condition assessment reports. So traditional real estate is considered basically single-family homes, small apartment buildings, small office buildings, even some small farms, and of course residential buildable lots. But I've been involved in a part of the business that involved tax defaulted property, and that's a little bit different than the traditional real estate, although it is traditional real estate. The big difference really is these properties are tax defaulted, and that causes some real problems. So rarely do we see office buildings or large shopping centers or that kind of thing in the tax defaulted business. But those buildings and those big projects, they require a lot of extra reporting. In the tax defaulted business, we don't have that. We buy the properties as is, which I'll talk about in just a second. So my perception of this business is basically through a lens of a bargain hunter at a tax defaulted auction. So that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I teach. There's over 3,000 counties across the United States, and they all sell tax defaulted property. So that means there's going to be a lot of it. And the challenge is, what do you do about checking those properties out? Well, today what we're talking about is property condition assessment reports. And the guys that buy bigger properties, by that I mean outside of the tax lien and deed business, they want reports on those properties, because if they have to fix a roof on a big property, that could cost a lot of money, or if they have to replace the elevators, or if there's code enforcement things that change windows or whatever it might be. So they're going to do a property condition assessment report. That's altogether different than what happens in the tax lien and deed business, where we buy as is, and the county doesn't guarantee the condition of the property, nor do they warranty the title report. So it's altogether a different part of the business. So defaulting notices are given to people in tax defaulted property, usually on the bigger properties that haven't gone into default. They're sold with brokers, and there's a lot of people involved and a lot of investors. So they need extra reporting so they know what it is to bring those properties up to the codes and whatever the municipal ordinance are at that particular time. So the official treasurer in a regular auction, they're the ones that ultimately, they lien on the property, then they levy the property, and then finally they confiscate the property. Now we're talking about a whole different ballgame. We're talking about properties that's selling between commercial people, and we're not going through that seizure that the treasurer does, where they take the property away from the defaulting owner and then they sell it at auction for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. So we're talking about a whole different marketplace, probably not for the average investor that's going to be watching a video like this. These are for people that are doing commercial properties. So understand, if you're buying properties at tax defaulted auction, you're talking about buying as is, and you're talking about the county not giving you any warranty as to the condition, and they're not giving you any guarantees on what's happening on the title report. All right, so what's happened? Well, investors need to be warned when they're buying at a tax defaulted auction that there's risk involved. There's always risk involved regarding the condition of the property and the condition of the title report. So we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about banks and big concerns where they're going to lend a lot of money, and maybe the building is older. Structurally it's good, but maybe there has to be a lot of work done. So all those things are going to require some kind of report. Most people call that a property condition assessment report. That's not going to be done by you or I or a real estate broker. That's going to be done by an engineering firm. They're going to check that property out and make sure that everything is okay. Now, sometimes people are borrowing and buying a new property. They get a discount when they buy it because a lot of work has to be done. So how do they decide what work's going to be done? Well, that's when they would have a property condition assessment report, and that report would say, well, no, the elevators have to be fixed, the parking lot isn't up to standards, the lighting systems aren't up to standard, and whatever. And so they bring the building back to standard based on those reports. So engineers are the ones that do that kind of report. All right, so commercial lenders are going to request those things, and people buying commercial properties are going to do that. So it's not something we normally handle when we're talking about tax defaulted property or the traditional real estate. These assessment reports are critical and part of the loan that's being made on the property and part of the purchase. So if you think about a big building, think about the air conditioning system on a high-rise building. Well, that's going to be serious. If that doesn't work correctly, well, no one's going to stay in the building. So anybody that's lending on that property or buying their property is going to want a property condition report. So you're getting the idea. So this is a serious business. We don't do much of it or any of it in the tax defaulted business because we're buying properties as is. However, we're buying these properties for 5, 10, 20 cents on the dollar if possible, without a mortgage and without a deed of trust on the property. So we're bargain hunters trying to find a property that we can buy at a low price and then it will still have a reasonably good assessed value or tax assessed value, but we're going to buy it low, and my system is buy it low and then sell it low, in other words, below the tax assessed value so we can sell it quickly. In the tax defaulted business, you're buying with a warning. Whenever you buy one of these properties, it's buyer beware. These properties are sold with a notice that the county is not responsible for the condition of the property itself, and they're not going to give you any warranty regarding what the deed is. Yes, they'll take the loan off the property, meaning the mortgage. They'll take the mortgage off the property, and they'll take the deed of trust off the property if there is one, but there still could be a municipal lien on you want to check or a federal lien. I'll do a couple of questions because I answer questions from my YouTube audience on a regular basis. So the question today is, do I have to pay a fee to attend an auction? Folks, the auctions are public auctions. They're usually on the courthouse steps at the county seat, or if it's a big county and they have a lot of properties to auction, they'll rent a big hall or they'll rent a hotel, or they'll take the time and go to the fairgrounds if it's really a big one in a place like Los Angeles. But their auctions are free. Anybody can attend, and it's public. That means anybody can go and check the records, and after they check the records, they can attend that auction. So why are we doing what we're doing? What attracts investors to the properties that we do? We're buying tax defaulted property. So I come from a practical world. If you're buying real estate in a county or a municipality and you're trying to buy it at 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, and you've already evaluated that property and you're convinced that you can sell it for a higher price than you're going to buy it for, well, that's what the name of the game is. We're trying to buy at low prices and have margin where we can sell it and make some money, and whoever we sell it to could even make some money. Or if we're buying at a low price, we know we can sell it at a considerably higher price. All right, so our exit strategy is planned as part of the purchase. As a matter of fact, we teach our clients, don't buy the property until you know what your exit strategy is, because if you buy it and you spend too much money at the auction, you won't be able to sell it. Not going to be a good idea to sell a property that you can't sell. Now, tax defaulted properties are used and abused properties. I didn't say they were junkers, and if they are, you don't want to buy those, but many of the properties just need cleanup and paint, and then they can be resold. So right below me, you'll be able to find out how many tax defaulted properties are available. So if you can look at this map, you can see the white circles on the map. Well, that's going to indicate where the auctions are taking place. This is an electronic calendar. It'll show you where the auctions are taking place and how many properties are available. My name is Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video.